Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. It's tip-top pro-level ladder action by request. A few people saying I was concentrating too much on the group gameage. Well, we can't have that, can we? We cannot have our pros and their pro ladder disregarded. That would be very, very unprofessional, and no one ever accused me of that, I'm sure. Anyway, first of all, I've done it before. I know you'll forgive me. It's all for a good cause. Hello and welcome to my newest subscribers. Fantastic to have you on board. Hope you like the shows. And if you enjoy what you're looking at, but you're not 100% sure what you are looking at, the game is Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, not, I repeat, not Supreme Commander 2. It's available on Steam for £10 or 15 US dollars or whatever the equivalent is in your local currency. All you need to do to come play with us here at FAF is once you have the game installed, it doesn't matter if you have the Steam edition or a retail copy, all you need to do once you have it installed is download the Forged Alliance Forever multiplayer client, and you can find a link to that in the description below this and each and every one of my videos. What will that allow you to do? It'll allow you to come play with us, chat with us. It'll allow you to browse our replay vaults, our mob vaults, our map vaults, chat with us on the forums, whatever it is, you name it, you got it. Once you've made that initial outlay for the game, it's all free of charge. You can't say fairer than that. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's get on with today's game. Like we said, it's going to be pro, it's going to be ladder, and it's going to go down on Loki, the most troublesome of all gods. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. Chang, ka-chang. I bet you can tell I've had my coffee this morning. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have, baby. Alright, let's take a look at our players up here at the top. In the blue corner, it's none other than the very Sean Bean of Guilecast, as someone coined him not so long ago, and I shall be referring to him in perpetuity going forward. The most successful player on Guilecast who has died the most. I think that's definitely we can say. But somehow he's doing something right at 2163. It is ZLO going his customary Cybrin in the red corner, opening first land. Looked like second land, and then third air, fourth land, but we'll come back to that in just a second. His opponent down here at the bottom left in the blue corner, blowing out your ass. It's DukeNukem also going Cybrin, bless him, so it's a Cybrin mirror matchup, which of course means I'll be cleaning underneath my toenails with razor wire upon the end of the show. And he is opening first land. Where are we going here with this? So first land, we reckon. Second land. Third land. And air is basically an afterthought. Maybe? Maybe? Is that what we're going here? Boom. Boom. It's just impossible to tell. It's an absolute maze. But I will let you guys have a closer look on their intros, as we know you guys like to borrow from each other's openings. No pun intended there. I'm sure you understand. So opening salvos seem to be a couple of P-gens there, Land Factory, Core Mass, and then on to another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 P-gens there for ZLO. Couldn't possibly tell you what happened with DukeNukem. Remember guys, if you have any issues at all with stuff that I've missed, you can check it out for yourself, because all of the replay IDs are very helpfully, first of all, placed in the description to the videos, but they're also up here on the very wonderful Supreme Scoreboard mod that is provided by, I can't remember who did it. Who did it? You contact me so many times, and I thank you for your work, and I'm sorry I can't quite remember your name, but you have done a marvellous job, and we all salute you. This little chappie is about to do a marvellous job, we hope. One solitary lab coming in from DukeNukem, trying to draw first blood, looking for a vulnerable NG if he can find one. If he carries on going on the line he was going there, he's going to run into the ACU, so probably wasn't going to score much. In fact, it looks like he's heading south, and that could be interesting. 3 engineers looking very vulnerable. Definitely needs some parental protection from some large walking ACU. Not sure they're going to get it. Where's that lab? Should be coming over the brow of that hill any moment now. It really is. It's so peaceful everywhere on the map inside the first 3 minutes, with the exception of what's going to go down here. DukeNukem gets off the first few rounds. Reclaim order put out by 1 NG. It evades that. Then another. It evades that. Hunter down to around 50% health. Kills 1 NG. Another reclaim order out, and the second NG survives with 19 hit points. Superbly done, ZLO. We salute you. That would have been 3 or 4 dead NGs had I been in command. We can go back to single screen now, since the majority of the openings are complete. More labs, no, more Mantis crossing that central civilian threshold in the middle for DukeNukem. Looking like they're going to amass over here, trying to prevent ZLO from getting set up on the 3 mass points on the other side of that cliff edge. ZLO sending a small contingent out towards the, well, initially looked like it was the top left, and then he moves south slightly to guard construction of those 2 mexes there next to his base. A little bit of an engagement, which doesn't last too long, as DukeNukem pulls back just outside of ZLO's base there. Air factory complete and producing inties for DukeNukem. Air factory over here also producing inties for ZLO. ZLO slightly further ahead, I think it's fair to say. 1 scout plane and 2 inties online versus 1 scout plane and 1 intie there for DukeNukem. Engagement kicks off once again in a similar location to where we were before. Mantis down, engineer snagged. Very nicely done, sir. This is where a jester or a bomber would come in handy, but none are currently available. ZLO yanking his comm from the base. Now looking like he wants to get it involved and shoo away these naughty replicators. Those are backing away out towards the west. Nice formation for ZLO. If he carried on pushing, could have picked up a few kills there. DukeNukem re-engages and has superior numbers with reinforcements coming in from the south. That is a win for him. Holds the ground temporarily, doesn't want to get caught by the ACU. He's got a mole there, so he should be aware of the potential dangers. He could be able to look at that and look at the speed that it's moving and say, that's not your regular unit. I need to stay away from that at all costs. Inti's pushing right out to the far edge, led by a scout there. Having some problems, DukeNukem, with his power balance. Gets a handle on it just as he's about to run out. Very nicely done. ZLO not running into the same difficulties, but in fact well behind on generated eco, 23 to 13 at current reading. And that is an accurate reading. So DukeNukem expanding more comfortably here inside the opening first 6 minutes of the game. Another fracas over here, and DukeNukem just beginning to run low on units outside ZLO's base. Reinforcements continually on the move from our red Cybrin player. Eventually this threat is going to be eliminated. Doesn't look like DukeNukem's going to be left with any units to harass there. He's got some more just south of the cliff edge. Problem is, ZLO in the area with his comm. Gets a little unlucky with the engage on that neutral building, which blocks a couple of his shots. Does lose an engineer or 2. But again, will hold the field thanks to moving out his commander. And interesting, Skyhook out with some Mantis, airdropping them somewhere. Takes a little bit of fire from 1 intie that promptly gets shot down with some good air coverage from DukeNukem. Mantis fly and land right next to ZLO's comm. Takes down an engineer. It's going to take down that Mex as well. Is he going to rescue any of those onto the transport, I wonder? Yeah, picks up 3 of them. That is a nice ballsy hit and run. Not exposing too much mass to any danger there with only a handful of Mantis, but still entertaining to watch at the early stages of this one. DukeNukem's pulled his comm moving further forward on the plateau just north of his base, and he's just picking off those Mantis from ZLO as they come in single file there around the cliff edge. Even has a reinforcing Mantis to throw into the pile as well. ZLO trying to get set up in the top left, runs into 3 Mantis there. If he's paying attention, he should be able to redirect and score a win there. But those 2 Mantis, those were the 2 of the 3 that remained, I think, from that Skyhook. Got dropped off down here. They're going to pick up a Hydro kill by the looks of things. Nothing on the way in for a while. We've got these Mantis just being dispatched from the main base now, but it's going to take a while to get there. There goes the Hydro. What does that do to ZLO's power? He's not crippled, but it doesn't Doesn't help ZLO out in the slightest. He's going to lose another Mex. It was 33 apiece, and it's still 33 apiece. And there it goes. 33 to 31 with the destruction of that T1 Mex. Looked like he was going to hold on to it for a second there. 3 mass points in jeopardy, however, for DukeNukem right at the bottom of the screen. 4 or 5 Mantis in the area there, looking to knock that out of the game. DukeNukem just ballsily marching right to the top of the map. But there's not a lot to really worry him right now. ZLO was just getting started on some factories. They won't be up and running by the time DukeNukem intercepts, assuming he continues forward with his comm. It doesn't look like he's going to. What is it they say about assuming? Certainly doesn't add to my credibility, I'll tell you that much. Little lone engineer for DukeNukem, trying his best to get started. Did he even have orders to do that, or was that just little T1 Cybran NG initiative? We'll never know. Consigned to the ethereal scrap pile that he's been. Steady stream of units now heading out to the top left. Certainly looks like that's where ZLO's prioritizing for the moment. Concerned, no doubt, by the presence of DukeNukem's comm. Kind of intels he got up here, very little. Needs to get a radar online. No sooner do I say it, there it goes. It completes right next to a T1 PD. Could have probably done with dropping that back a little bit. I have a feeling he's going to need to rebuild that soon. ZLO dispatches a contingent to the top left. DukeNukem shadows, albeit with a smaller group of units. ZLO can afford to push that top left position now. Lots of inties on the field for DukeNukem, much more so than ZLO. ZLO sitting on 7 inties globally. DukeNukem, by contrast, on 12 with another 6. However, those 6 are bingo on fuel. Someone explain to me what bingo on fuel means. T2 tech operational on the ground there for DukeNukem. Starting to produce rhinos. How does that compare with ZLO? ZLO is still operating on T1, it would seem, for the time being. So an early upgrade, or earlier upgrade, for DukeNukem. Those rhinos already entering the fray. See if it assists him in locking down any territory on this part of the map. Top left, T1 Mexes under attack from ZLO, who was a good 6 mass down. But that's about to get evened out with the destruction of those Mexes. Now 41 apiece, and ZLO about to take the lead with that. Although, yeah, that was reclaim related, that little spike there. Jumped to 52 momentarily. We won't worry about that. Now, will 2 rhinos be enough? I suspect it won't. Could do with a little extra investment if he's going to continue to push this position. ZLO's interceptors caught on the ground by superior numbers. Relatively short engagement there. So where are we at? 44 to 47, 12.5 minutes in. And map control, well, a little less than 50-50 for DukeNukem. ZLO looking like he's kind of sitting on 55% of the map. There or thereabouts. taking command of that top left-hand corner. One NG, though, has escaped. I love this man's balls, in a purely plutonic sense, of course. That T1 PD. Oh, the best laid plans scuppered by a T1 radar somewhere. Well, it was a nice idea. Alas. Poor Yorick. Horatio. You knew him. Strange names these Mantis have. Just get the feeling territory starting to slip away from DukeNukem. He's got the tech advantage on the ground, and he's well behind now in generated eco. He's certainly doing much better on kill-death ratio than ZLO is. 1.46 to 0.67. And we have interesting T2 air for DukeNukem, and he's producing renegades, so we have a bit of gunship play coming in to force here for our blue Cybran. That's the first gunship, it would seem. Any T2 air tech present for ZLO? Not as yet. And of course, as we've already seen, he's way down on interceptor numbers as well. So potentially an opening there for DukeNukem. Oh, just about to hit T2. Those are the cruelest mass point losses. Except of course T2 to T3. Expert commentating here as always at Guilecast. And those rhinos engaging vast swathes of Mantis, and even a rhino as well. So we're up to T2 tech there for ZLO, who's even upgraded an extra factory up front to aid with reinforcement. HQ for ZLO, unsurprisingly, back at the main base. And now we're starting to see the renegades put to the test, hitting the position at the top of the map, going straight after those T1 Sky Slammers and trying to knock out any anti-air capabilities in the area. But another T2 land factory up there quickly spews out a banger. Excuse me. And that's the end of that little bit of aerial pressure. Engagement just outside of ZLO's base. 3 rhinos still operational for DukeNukem. Unable to break into that encampment on the plateau. Another little group down here. They're being pursued rather unwisely by an ill-equipped band there. Should really wait, but a much larger group of renegades brought in now. Take some pot shots at that little force we were just looking at before. Moving on to the land factories over here. They're going to get reprioritized onto the T2. Sensible decision. Takes no time to take that down. And this is a nice little bit of work getting done by DukeNukem here. Those gunships well protected. Lots of inties around. Now the mexes are next. He's almost at 2-to-1 kill-death ratio now with this play. T2 engineer throwing down tracers as quickly as he can. Renegade or 2 gets knocked out there, but the last tracer is about to fall. That, of course, opens up a couple of T2 mexes ripe for the plucking. Slow, 75 to 56. That's about to drop significantly. Almost levels things eco-wise with the loss of that one. 56 to 63. And then, of course, we've got 4 vulnerable T1 mexes at the bottom, which are about to go as well. No chance of ZLO defending there. ZLO also concerned about this little band we looked at earlier, although the rhinos are gnats sneeze away from death. In fact, there's only one left. That's not going to last very long. Goodbye. So ZLO holds the ground game there. Finishes all of the mexes in the bottom right-hand corner. And that puts him ahead, 64 to 53. Any power issues there? No, that's an accurate reading. So DukeNukem takes the lead. At least on mass. Problem is, of course, engineers being dispatched down this right-hand side. ZLO's comm down here. He's trying to wrestle away control of this ridge, but so far on the ground, unsuccessful, and the Renegades are now going to be facing stiffer and stiffer anti-air resistance from Sky Slammers and Bangers after all the success that they've been having. He's not going to be able to use those to much effect, so ZLO just going to move back in here. Yes, he's knocked those out, but he's not gained any territory from doing so. One of the drawbacks, of course, to these air incursions. Wonderful taking down your opponent's positions, but if you can't move in and grab it or secure it or prevent your opponent from reasserting control, then all you're doing is delaying the inevitable. Down goes a mex for DukeNukem from a couple of Wagners over here that have used their amphibious nature to cross that pond over there. In come the Renegades. Can they save that last 2 T2 mechs? No, they can't. Down it goes. Consolation prize knocks out those 2 tanks. Will the expense of that Renegade push that, yes, slowed down ZLO's eco but didn't hand any territorial control over to DukeNukem, will that cost DukeNukem in the long run? We can see the kill-death ratio still looking impressive for DukeNukem, but it's beginning to fall. That was up near 2 at one point. Interceptors managed to pick off a Renegade there. Nice isolationism, or isolationist work from ZLO, who's got 16 inties now on the field, compared to 42 for DukeNukem, who comes in for a bit of payback. Doesn't want to hang around near that banger. Picks off 4 or 5 aircraft before evacing. That's actually a very nasty looking group of ground units there, but very uniform in unit type. Lots of rhinos with the odd Medusa in there. What have we got? We've got 4 T1 PDs and a couple of T2s. A couple of Cerberus turrets back here. That's a nasty little egg to crack. It looks like DukeNukem's thinking about having a go. More Medusas moving in all the time. They're going to be crucial if he's going to brush aside those defenses. But ZLO on the offensive now down south. However, there's a brick or 2 in play down here now. So DukeNukem once again leapfrogging in tech his opponent. Wondering if that's going to prompt an evolutionary response from ZLO. Whether we're going to see some T3 factory upgrades on the way. Not as yet. If That is the mood music. It's not been triggered. Perhaps though not comfortable yet with his eco, or maybe he just didn't see the T3 units. But what he has seen is enough to make him retreat down at the bottom. Picked off that Mex and that PD. A couple of units as well. Lots of good aerial reconnaissance running on this side of the map though from ZLO. Look at all those scout planes out. Too many for DukeNukem to bother getting entangled with his interceptor force. That large group of T2 units hits the top left for DukeNukem. It's going to be a win on the ground. All T1 mexes though, so ZLO's eco won't be too badly hit. Takes him down to around 93 to 70 with an extra 300 power or so on top of DukeNukem, who needs to grab some territory, hold it, and make it earn for him. Needs to get a handle on this situation. Will the emergence of new technology allow him to do it? We shall have to wait and see. ZLO's commander in that base down there, perhaps not the best place to hit. Again, thinks about pushing in towards the center. Looks like that's where he's going to go. Two T2 mexes and a T1 vulnerable there. Now just flirting with that base at the top, but getting a little bit too close for comfort. Those Cerberus turrets opening up on the side of that formation, and in fact it's looking like it's going to go pretty badly now for DukeNukem. Interceptors providing cover overhead, waiting for inevitable gunship pressure. We do have some renegades there down there. Will they be dispatched? Well, if he's going to, DukeNukem has left it late. He also needs to get his own inties involved first, but there's very little left now for him to worry about defending. Just focusing on picking off stragglers. Meanwhile, back over here at the plateau, those loyalists march in and take down one of the two T2 extractors. Another vulnerable one here potentially. ZLO now only 5 generated mass ahead of DukeNukem. But just look at the way things are going. There's a bit of pocket of resistance here, but ZLO fanning out now, starting to assert himself on more and more territory. And an air fracas kicks off right above a land force that's got a couple of bangers in it. That's a lot of unnecessary avoidable deaths for DukeNukem's force there. And you can see the kill-loss ratio evening out now. 0.82 for ZLO versus 1.21 for DukeNukem. DukeNukem didn't manage to pick off that T2 mex over there. That's a shame, but of course we don't even know if he's privy to the same information we are in terms of what stage that mex is at in its tech cycle. Epic fail. DukeNukem unhappy with the way this is going. So bad, he says, with this incursion from ZLO on the ground. It's just brushing aside everything on the plateau. He had T1 defenses going up, but it looks like they are falling. Couple of extra Wagner's brought in down the left-hand side. DukeNukem yanks his comm to deal with those. They're about to lose. He's about to lose a T2 PGen, which he does. What does that do to his eco? It's crippled him in terms of power. He throws out the GG at 26 minutes, and DukeNukem control K's his comm. Where's my lovely explosion? Where is it? There is it. I get the control K, but I don't get any payoff. What a massively disappointing ending. It's like a porno that gets overtaped right at the end. What a money shot. It's nothing like that, really, and it's a family show. But look at the way it collapsed at the end there. That little band of resistance on the ground for DukeNukem that took out that mex. It's all that's left, basically, or ostensibly east of the main base, as ZLO just converged at the end there, and kill-loss ratio essentially normalized right at the end there. It was almost one piece. We never talked about total mass accrued. ZLO with the reclaim and everything, and a slight advantage in the longer term of the game on generated eco. It was 115 versus 81. And with those kind of stats, it's amazing, actually. DukeNukem stayed in it as long as he did. But ZLO won, everybody! He won! Sean Bean survives. I'm trying to think of an analogy, a film where that happened. And I'm not sure if there is one. But he did it today, so well done, sir. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, more to come from me in the future, guys. If you feel so inclined, don't forget you can support me on Patreon. All donations very gratefully received. Thank you in advance for any kind, generous donations that are made. And, of course, to all of you who have donated to me in the past and continue to do so. Your support really does mean the world. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. And until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.